getting in Jesus.
What was that? What was that question? You just play whatever you play, and I'm just whatever comes to mind. Because we're just a couple, but I can't. I get too emotional when.
Try one more time, buddy. Sing a song for these people.
I'm gonna sing a song for these people, taking it back to the old days. This is whack. I can't come up with anything. I can't do it.
Welcome back to the Soundcheck Podcast. I'm your host, Trey Sheck Snyder, with the other host, Michael Ringnut.
Oh no, I did that. That's my fault. Hi guys, it's Michael Ringat.
Yeah.
Can you ever say it right? Is there? Will we ever get past this?
No, probably not.
Having to roast me and my last name thing.
I don't know. I feel like it's kind
I
of.
want to be famous. Okay.
What does that have anything to do with your last name? Oh.
People
The
need to
recognition.
know my last name.
No, okay. Well, I'll just keep messing it up and you just keep saying it the way it's supposed to be said.
Okay.
It's like a gimmick, you know?
I mean, if we're being honest, you'd be the more famous one anyway.
I doubt it.
I mean, look at you.
Stop.
You just got
Look
so much star power. Oh God.
All right.
You do that again.
Let's go. So, last week we launched our.
I don't think that's
Hey.
a topic.
No, it's not. But it's just a little. Don't worry about that. So we're gonna try to look more at the camera tonight, right, Mike?
No, we're not looking at the camera.
Oh,
we're
we're
looking
not
at each
gonna
other. At each other.
Why?
Yeah.
Why would we do that?
Because
We
like
don't look at each other in a normal conversation.
No, you don't look at me in a normal conversation.
I don't know how to make eye contact. That's the problem.
You're gonna
I've
learn
always
with me.
had, and it's weird too because like, I don't have what's like most psychologists say, like if you can't look someone in the eyes, it means that you're, what's the word?
A pansy.
A pansy.
That's what I'm.
It's kind of mean, but
It's science, bro.
I don't think that's the word they use. It's doesn't matter. The point is like I'm not that person. I just don't like eye contact ever. Actually.
But you're doing it so well right now.
Really?
You have such nice
I'm
eyes.
so uncomfortable.
That's hurtful because we're really close friends and all, and you can't look at me in the eyes.
Well, I am.
Is it because you start imagining things like?
It's because it's like whenever I look someone in the eyes, I think about what's behind those eyes, which is like a pulsating piece of flesh, which is your brain. And then that kind of just messes
Okay,
me
you
up.
know what? Don't look at
In a
me
way.
anymore. Don't look at my eyes. We don't have to do this. So what are we
Anyway.
talking about tonight? Are we gonna
I
we're
don't
gonna
know.
get topical?
Honestly, this is your episode. I'm gonna give this to you.
No, because then I'm just gonna ramble too much.
Ramble. I mean, like, yeah, I got nothing for this.
You got
for this for
nothing?
this one, I got nothing. So, to all our viewers out there, this
Well then look,
podcast goes straight to Michael.
well then look, I want to do this. Let's give both of our opinions on a hot topic. I saw a video earlier today. You know who Finn McKenty is, right? The punk rock NBA guy.
No.
I showed you some of his videos. We were on the way back from Lafayette.
Yeah.
I showed you. Okay.
Yeah, I remember seeing this video.
Anyway, he was dissecting like the current state of rock music right now and why it is quote unquote dying, and he hit some really good points. So I want to get your opinion about what you think of the current state of rock music as like, I guess, as a whole, and then like the heavier genres like metalcore and the hardcore stuff.
What's my opinion
Like
on
on
the
where
music?
where it stands. Like as far as basically the title of the video was something rock music dying.
Okay.
Do you agree or disagree with that statement? That rock music is dying.
Sadly, I'm going to have to. I mean, I'm not going to say it's dead, but I'm going to say as far as mainstream media goes, it feels like it's dwindling more and more. And that might just be because I don't listen to the radio anymore. I remember the last time I stayed listening to the radio was I had to be like 17. It was years ago.
Yeah, I was honestly in high school.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Maybe. Yeah.
It was when Becoming the Bull came out by Atreyu.
I never really listened to Atreyu.
But it was playing on the radio.
But yeah, I remember that era.
Yeah, and it's like when Breaking Benjamin. I remember a time when Breaking Benjamin and 3 Days Grace were at their biggest. If that's the kind of rock we're talking about rock as a whole, or the genre that we hold dear and near.
Well, I'm actually talking. It is hard to categorize both, but yeah, rock as a whole. And I mean, I guess being because like back in the day, there was all different kinds of rock music that dominated the radio. Whether it was pop rock or hair metal or metal, like everything was on the radio. I mean, we did kind of like eventually push the issue a little bit once distorted scream vocals became a thing. Mm-hmm. That was a little harder to market and to get everybody on board with. Obviously, that's not easy to put on the radio. But I am talking, just rock music as a whole. Because if you stop and think about it, like, if you do talk radio, I don't listen to the radio much, but you can go and find, like, an ungodly amount of modern rap stations, pop stations, country stations, and whatnot. But you really can only find, like, 1 or 2, maybe 3 modern rock stations.
And modern rock stations, you mean?
When I say modern rock, I mean just rock in general.
Yeah.
Not like
no,
hard rock
because
or...
You got to think of it this way, too, is like if you put on the radio and you play rock, you're more than likely going to end up listening to the just old school rock, like which is hair metal. And even like the old songs we grew up listening to by Breaking Benjamin, 3 Days Grace. Like when I put on the radio or rock station, there's almost no new rock. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're on Sirius XM.
Yeah, I mean, and when you say new rock, I mean, it's the same bands. I mean, at least the same bands since we're in high school. I mean, there's a few more creeping in here and there, but like nobody to me that's like extremely notable, at least that I've heard of. But then again, I'm very disconnected from.
Well, okay, so like I'll say that
rock.
You say notable. There is I feel like in the past 5 years, new rock bands that have came up is that one band. Forget their names now.
Well, anyway, but well, I don't want to harp on it. But
yeah.
But I guess my whole point is like the last standing line of rock at all in the mainstream is like hard rock, and that's the 3 Days Graces and the Breaking Benjamins and the Five Finger Death Punches and stuff like that. I mean, it's very like a very isolated sound. They have their nuances and their differences and whatnot, but I mean, you're not finding pop punk on the radio. You're not finding, hardcore. Right. You're not finding punk in general or anything really modern metal stuff. And I think maybe a lot of that has to do with the stuff that is more screamy, oriented stuff. It is harder to get on the radio. But I do find it crazy that there's literally no radio stations for that stuff unless I just don't know what it is. And I say radio, I'm talking like Sirius and stuff too. I don't know of many like post-hardcore-esque radio stations or metalcore radio stations.
I mean, there is, but there's like 2 of them compared to like the rap or the country stations or the pop. There's like 50 pop stations.
Yeah, and if I had to guess, the numbers and the ratings aren't very good on them. If I had to guess, I'm just assuming.
Right.
But the big question too, and I'm straight up pulling everything from this video that I watched earlier. So shout out again, Finn McKenty. Like he'll ever watch this or hear this.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
But I just have to give credit where it's due. But he was, he asked the question, is it the fans or is it the bands or is it both? And I kind of agree with what he said. He was saying the fans are stuck in the past. Like the fans are not actively seeking new music. And at the same time, the bands that dominated the scene, just rock in general 20, 30 years ago are still dominating the rock music in general. Like, I mean, he was listing all these festivals and whatnot, and all these, major rock bands from the 20, 30 years ago were all headlining these festivals. They're all like old bands. There's nobody new. And like the last big one that was, generous to new and upcoming bands was Warped Tour, that at least that I know of. And Warped Tour's not, doing its thing no more. So now all these festivals are just being dominated by all these huge, renowned bands that were huge 20, 30 years ago.
Right.
There's no space for the new guys, basically.
I think there is. It's just kind of, there's no want. Like you said, there's just no. Is my mic working? It doesn't show that I'm talking at all.
We're back. We're good. We're online.
Okay.
Another
Yeesh.
podcast, another epic IT fail.
You got the video on?
Yeah, it's gone.
All right. So, man, I lost my train of thought. But it's basically what I'm saying is I feel like there's not as much of a want. Like you said, people aren't going out. They're not finding new rock music. It's like if you talk to anybody that still listens to like mainstream rock, most of them are gonna say it's Five Finger Death Punch. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and they're still going to be talking about Avenged Sevenfold and stuff like that. And no disrespect to those guys, but that's just I guess it's kind of frustrating that that's the only thing that's making it on the radio. But it's at the same time it's rock music's fault, the fans too, because the fans are like, all right, we're tired of being, again quoting, we're tired of being a part of this pop culture scene. We don't want to be a part of that. Take us off the radio. Rock music doesn't deserve to be or shouldn't be mainstream, blah, blah, blah. So we reject pop culture, and in return, pop culture's like, all right, well, we don't want nothing to do with y'all then.
Yeah.
So it's definitely the fans have a lot to do with it. We kind of created this for ourselves, not necessarily us, but a lot of the rock music fan base did.
Right.
So I think we're at fault for it too.
Has rock ever felt that way? That they didn't want to be mainstream media? Or mainstream?
I guess. Well, I mean, like in the '90s, like
90s,
whenever grunge started and punk was like really prevalent and whatnot, they were like, screw everything organized, and like the Kurt Cobains and whatnot.
Yeah, they didn't
were
want to be
like,
put within like boundaries. You know what I mean? They wanted to be able to express openly and do what they wanted in their music, whatever they wanted to do. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, they didn't want to be, I guess, conform. They didn't want to conform to what it was to be, a quote unquote pop star, even though it's
Right.
not. I mean, pop and rock music, two different things, but I mean, ultimately, yeah, like they were popular. So I guess they didn't want to have to
Right.
conform or acquiesce to that lifestyle, of the Hollywood-esque lifestyle.
Yeah.
But that's where it landed us, though. And we supported that stuff. That was what was cool. And over time, it was cooler and cooler to be against pop culture and go against what they wanted. And guess what? The people that are creating pop culture, that are allowing things to be popular, are the ones who are allowing music that is created to become popular. So they're controlling it. So if we don't, if what they wanted, if what the 90s and, early 2000s, what they wanted was to be, against the system, they got it. And now hip hop and rap and, modern pop is just dominating the game.
Right.
So unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. Go ahead. Go.
No, like, I mean, got something to say?
All right, hold on.
We can move on to the next
Yeah,
point
go
of
ahead.
that.
You
All
got
right.
something else?
Yeah, actually, it's on the same topic, but another point that was hit on that video was that there's no big personalities in rock music right now. Like, think about it. You had like your My Chemical Romance had a big personality. Jack White, when he was, White Stripes, that was a big personality. That was like, he was a star and he was okay with being that way, and people thought that was cool. I mean, they dressed kind of, like we don't dress like that.
Right.
But they were different than the crowd. The crowd didn't dress like that. That was something that was like you know, just like in the 80s, dudes wore girl pants and stuff, and they, you know, had the feathered hair, they wore makeup, they did all the whole nine, and like people weren't going to their shows dressed like that. I mean, if they might have been, I don't know, I wasn't there, but that wasn't normal, you know?
Right.
And that was like a rebellious thing in itself. And people were like, they go to these shows and they were like, these dudes are famous. They're stars. They're like, they're crazy. They're, you know, they're putting on a facade that is like something that people admired because they weren't afraid to be, you know, different and crazy and whatnot. They had a reason to be watched, as to where now it's kind of like, it seems to me, especially in like the pop punk genres and the, you know, the modern emo genres, it's very bland to me. Like there's a specific style. There's a specific outfit type, you know, type of outfit that you blend in with your fans. You look exactly the same as your fans. You're not doing anything that's like, you know, wow, this guy is like goals, or these guys or this girl or these women are like goals, you know?
That's a great point. But I mean, does that just go as far as the way you dress? Because I mean, that's really the point. Like, the point that you're bringing is that like nobody's dressing, like.
Well, I'm saying the outfit is a perfect reflection of the personality behind the outfit. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to be noticed and you want to be seen, like, you got to do something that maybe people might be like, what is this dude doing? You know what I mean? Because for the longest time, like, I was in a shell of, I got the same haircut. I didn't do, you know, nothing different. I didn't dress different. I dressed like the average athletic, you know, sportswear kind of guy. And then eventually I was like, you know what? I'm going to get a pair of black pants. I'm going to wear Vans. I'm going to do this. Because, like, I was just like, you know, I was so worried back then about, like, what other people thought that, you know, that it's not like I'm doing anything groundbreaking here, but I'm just making a small point that's kind of like a minute point compared to what they do. They're not afraid of, like, looking flashy, being behind, you know, the camera, being behind, you know, or in front of a crowd of people. You know, they want to put on it. So they want to feel bigger than life themselves. And they portray that well.
So
like
it's just about looking confident and acting confident is what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely, like, putting on a big show of confidence that you're, like, not afraid and you know that what you're doing is, you just have confidence in what you're doing. You feel like you're doing something right. You believe in what you're doing. Not just, you know, thanks for coming.
Right.
But I think that's a big factor that's missing right now is personalities. Nobody's trying to be a big personality.
Right. I'm sorry, I don't have anything to add to that.
I know I ramble.
I think it's a great topic, but like,
well, for instance,
by anybody, do you just like, are you speaking locally or are you speaking on like the whole spectrum of rock?
I'm speaking very general.
Because let me ask you this, or let me say this too. Even from when we grew up listening to rock, who were the people that stood out to you? Because I didn't listen to the White Stripes growing up.
I didn't listen to them either, but I knew who they were. Because, I mean, they were interesting. They had interesting visual like appearance.
They did, correct. But I didn't listen to their stuff, and I didn't care for their stuff. But
I listened to Disturbed. I mean, David Draymond wears a whatever
he
that
does,
thing
yeah.
is, you know. And I don't like a modern example is like Ghost. I don't like them. I can't stand them, honestly. But
correct, yeah.
they're
Starset as well.
Starset. They have okay music. I thought
They're
their music
okay.
was okay. I can't get behind their gimmick.
I don't understand the gimmick. And that's the thing too. It's a great point. Like the music it isn't like typical rock. Like whenever you hear it, you would not expect them to have that going for them.
Not at all.
You would think of somebody dressing in Vans and
Yeah, just the normal kind of average guy.
right.
Which,
So
I mean,
maybe-
I guess is kind of something we tried to become, but anyway. The pop punk, hardcore, metalcore, all that kind of in general, kind of just went towards more of a direction of like, we're just normal guys.
Yeah. But I wanted to go back to what I was saying too about people in our teenage years, the big celebrities. But now thinking about you, you're right. You said Disturbed. I think of Slipknot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like Breaking Benjamin and 3 Days Grace, they didn't have that.
No, but
they stood out.
They were also in a time where rock was still in the mainstream. Nowadays, like if you ask somebody in the ages of 10 to 18, none of them probably know who that is. Or if they do, I mean, I say none of them. There's probably a much smaller portion of people who know who they are.
Right.
Like, I feel like they're still playing for us and people older than us.
Yeah, that's possible. Did you have another point you wanted to bring up?
Yeah. I was reading the comments in this video, okay? And I came across something I thought was like, I don't usually read the comments, but
Did you know his name or her name?
Excuse me. No.
Shout him out.
Would shout you out, but if you ever watch this video, good job. Good comment.
It's probably like your mom's 69 or something.
Probably was.
Okay.
If it was, I would not be shouting out this comment. So she, I don't remember, made a great point about there are no good gateway bands right now for the heavier stuff, right? So I would consider
Go ahead.
the weekend transit.
Gosh, here we go.
A type of gateway band, okay?
Okay.
Because there is some heavier stuff, but there's a lot of very softer, a lot of soft melodic stuff too.
You're talking about the Weekend Transit. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, listen to us on Spotify.
Come to emo night on.
Well, hey, we'll get to that right after this. So if Mike will hurry up and wrap this up.
When is it? September, October?
October 11th.
October 11th. Anyway, so there's no good gateway bands right now for like the harder stuff. So when you're going from like, softer rock or hard rock into like the hardcore stuff, the post-hardcore, the metalcore, there's no good in-between bands that are making it like, which the more I think about it, it's not necessarily true. I think there are, but there are none in the spotlight in the mainstream that are making it like making a good stepping stone in between the rock genres, from the hard rock to the more metal-esque stuff, I'm going to say, even though it doesn't have to necessarily be metal, that's the hardcore stuff.
Right.
There's none in the spotlight right now.
Okay, well, what were some gateway bands of our time?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I can't really give you like the best examples.
Right.
Because my examples would probably be like Still Too Heavy, like Under Oath and stuff.
Okay, well, look, I'll give you this. I remember growing up, a lot of people would say, I don't like listening to metal because I can't understand the lyrics. I don't like screaming, them kind of people.
But
if you show them Breaking Benjamin, they'd be like, well, they don't scream the whole time, so I like it. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah.
It's the fact that Breaking Ben brings them, it's just that little bit of screaming here and there. They drop it in there. And it's like, well, that didn't sound bad. You know what I mean? And then eventually they listen to Under Oath. And then eventually they're listening to August Burns Red or Devil Wears Prada.
I mean, that's how it was for me. Mine was All That Remains is later stuff. Whenever they did a lot more melodic stuff,
right? I
started getting into them, and then I went back and listened to the older stuff, and I was like, okay, I can deal with this. And because I still remember eventually I really started liking it. Then I started listening to A Day to Remember, and then once I started listening to them, it was like I was open to everything.
That was it.
I can listen to not everything,
right.
but I can listen to a song that's 100% screaming and enjoy it.
Yeah, I remember my gateway drug.
Cool. Okay.
My gateway band. All right.
We're going to have an
intermission right after this, okay? I'm not going to go into my gateway drug. I'm talking about my gateway band.
Whoopsie. Anyway.
Because I remember I grew up in a very Christian home, very strict.
No drugs.
Christian home. No drugs. that all came later.
Oh.
no drugs. Quiet.
No, don't do that.
So anyway, I remember my older brother came live with us, and he brought with him all his CDs and stuff. And I remember my mom going through his collection and saying, like, I found a bunch of Ozzy. She threw it all out. She was super mad about it.
Oh no.
Yeah, but my older brother's kind of the one that introduced me to rock, and it just went off.
It did. We're back. Go.
And so he kind of tried to ease me in. So he was like, well, I'm going to show him Christian rock bands. So my gateway was definitely Skillet. And then so that got me on the rock,
They
John
slap,
Cooper. He kind of yelled a little bit. But then right after that, I went into Demon Hunter, which was kind of like a downhill spiral into this
You
dead
became
genre.
a metalhead.
Huh?
You became a metalhead.
Yeah, because after that, it was all Disturbed, System of a Down, Breaking Band, stuff like
Nice.
that. But anyway, I had a question that I wanted to ask, but I don't know. My mind ain't right, so
Is it ever though?
no.
Well, then I think it's actually time we wrap this up anyway. So, do you want to go ahead and plug some dates in and whatnot,
Yeah.
or a date? Because I think we only really
I'll
have
bug
one.
the date.
The date.
The one you do not want to miss. Well, I bet
The one you don't want to miss.
I'm actually going to announce 2 dates because they're both very important.
Wait,
So-
don't. Which one's the other one?
The first one, the one coming up before this other one.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Because we're not going to have time, is that what you're saying?
'Cause we don't know yet.
What? Oh, no, I'm talking about the show. Our first one.
Okay, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
He's like, okay.
I just
So we have a show coming up in Lafayette at Wing Fingers. It is put on by Seth Thomas and Almost Digital.
Josh
Almost
Domain.
Digital's lead singer Josh. No, not lead singer.
guitar
That's
guitars.
guitarist.
Yeah.
Yeah, lead singer is Unique.
Under the Sea Productions.
Was it?
Under the Sea Productions. That's him.
I think so.
I think that's him.
Anyway, we're terrible people, and
Hopefully, shout out.
huh?
Hopefully, shout out. Hopefully, we did that right. Anyway, on what was the date? The
September 20th.
September 20th. All ages.
All ages.
All ages. At Fingwingers.
Fangwingers.
Fangwangers. We're playing with Devoured by Plagues and Capra.
It's gonna be a lit show. There's gonna be some throwing down.
Oh God,
What?
you did the throw thing.
Yeah, my bad. There's gonna be throwing down. Come support. You know,
Come out and
we
throw
need
down,
your
guys.
support like a lot.
Support your local bands.
I haven't eaten in a good while, so I could use you guys coming down buying merch. Okay, so anyway,
What's the next date?
the next date, we're over time, but anyway, the next day is one you definitely do not want to miss. In our hometown of Lake Charles, Louisiana, we will be putting on,
If you miss it, you hate us. Basically,
yeah, and all of you people that put interested instead of going, that needs to go, okay? Matter of fact,
and shout
that's
out,
another time.
shout out to the couple people that we don't know that shared it. Thank
Yeah,
you for that. That was pretty
absolutely.
cool. So
Sorry,
it's on what, the 11th?
you don't even know. October 11th,
October
it will be
11th.
at Zephyrs on,
You already said on October 11th. So
I'm talking about the street, fool.
oh, okay, that's Ryan Street.
On Ryan Street. I'm
Apologies.
sorry, I had a long bad day.
The Weekend Transit, featuring the Young Estates,
The
will be
youngest
doing
days.
an emo night.
Playing all your favorite emo hits from 2000 to now.
Bands
So
like,
anyway,
like
yeah, go through a couple bands.
Outfall Oi and Nanik at the Briscoe.
He's trying to say Fall Out Boy and Panic at the Disco. So if you hold those bands near and dear to you, you want to be at this show. And also, we will be hosting a Super Smash Bros. Tournament. It is going to be ultimate. We probably won't do 64. Sadly, because we won't have the amount of TVs that we need to do it. But we will be doing a ultimate Smash Bros. Tournament. It'll be a $5 buy-in. And if you win, you can win a lot of money. So bring a friend. Bring a remote. A remote is important as
a
well.
remote if you have one, absolutely.
But we should have everything you need if you don't have it.
We
And,
will have an event page
Do
put
not
up.
cut me off. Okay,
We will have an event page put up
Yeah,
this weekend.
yeah, I mean, this video probably won't get released till the day of emo night. The way you've been acting.
You know, I'm gonna hold you. I'm gonna hold
Yeah.
you to that. I'm gonna get it done.
All right.
Anyway, so
By the time this video is released, the event page should be up, and it should be tagged in this post.
and we'll be in 2020.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, one more time. What's the dates?
September 20th in Lafayette at Fang Wangers,
Okay.
and then at Zephyrs October 11th, emo night. Well, it's go ahead. Never mind.
no,
Emo night. It's not. We're not trying to call it emo night.
The Weekend Transit's playing emo stuff,
Yeah, the Weekend Transit and Young Estates.
and the Young
That's
Estates.
kind of a misconception too. Is Young Estates will be playing emo songs as well.
I love you, Sean.
Me too. All right, wrap
Thanks
this
for
up.
listening, guys. This has been the Soundcheck Podcast, Soundcheck Louisiana Local Podcast. If anybody has any questions, wants to have a conversation, please hit us up. And as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for the support.